Hey guys, this is Mark Yoki again. Welcome back to my channel. I've been using the latest Midranger, the REALME 9 Pro Plus, for almost 2 weeks already. I must say I'm really impressed with this REALME Midranger for the first time, especially on the camera performance. Of course, I'll share some photos and video samples later in this video. So let's get started with the full review. First thing first, I really love the design of this phone. Flat screen and slightly curved back. And this is true glass, by the way, not some cheap wannabe glass. And also the back is actually a bit glossy, so it's a bit fingerprint magnet, so you guys have to wipe it more frequently. If you look closely, there's actually numerous stardust design and also light refraction at different angle, which make it a very attractive phone. This phone is very thin at 7.99mm thickness and 182 gram weight, although it has to accommodate 4500 mAh battery. So to be honest, holding it with one hand is actually quite comfortable. Just in case you guys are wondering, the frame of this phone is actually made of plastic. Secondly is definitely the 6.4-inch stunning Super AMOLED display with 1080p resolution. The maximum refresh rate on this screen is 90Hz, which makes scrolling very enjoyable. Watching content on this phone is really enjoyable as the colors really pops up. The punch hole that houses the 16MP selfie camera is actually quite small. To be honest, it's quite negligible after a while. And if you look at the bezel surrounding the screen, it's actually quite small. It's just that the chin here is still noticeable. And I hope that in future, REALME can make it a smaller chin for the mid-range phone. Back to the rear of the phone. This is REALME's signature camera design since last year. There's a triple camera setup, and the main lens, 50MP, is from Sony IMX766 flagship sensor, which is so far only available on the flagship phones like REALME GT2 Pro, Xiaomi 12, and etc. The Sony IMX766 supports optical image stabilization (OIS), which also reduces blur when taking photos, especially in low light. The photos look stunning, even better when night mode is on. As for the 8MP ultra-wide lens and 2MP macro lens, they get the job done. This phone doesn't have telephoto lens, but it can zoom digitally up to 20 times, so you guys be the judge. As for video, this phone can shoot up to 4K at 30 frames per second. Video stabilization seems to be doing a good job on the 1080p at 30fps and 60fps. There's no stabilization on 4K video, unfortunately. So you guys can have a look on the first 3 video clips that I did and compare it yourself. There's also other render clips that I took at 1080p at 30 frames per second. So enjoy guys. As for performance, this phone is powered by MediaTek Dimensity 920 6nm chipset. This is a good performance chipset. With most games, also it can handle nicely. This phone is running on the latest REALME UI 3.0 update. So the good thing about this REALME UI 3.0 is that when you are in game, if you swipe, okay, there's a built-in FPS meter, okay, that you can enable as well as to monitor CPU and GPU usage. When you're on PUBG, you can set the setting at Smooth Extreme, Balance Ultra, HD Ultra, HDR Ultra, and that's all. As for Genshin Impact, you can play at high graphics, set at 60 FPS, but the frame rate will only stay around 30 to 40 FPS with occasional frame drop. So even with the high performance mode on this phone, on also, it hardly reaches 45 FPS. So my recommendation is to play this game on the medium setting at 30 FPS to get optimal performance. Next is the speaker. The 9 Pro Plus has a dual stereo speaker setup, which are powered by Dolby Atmos. And I'm really a fan of Dolby Atmos. These phone speakers are loud and strong with bass. Lastly is the battery life. The Realme 9 Pro Plus has a 4500 mAh battery, and during my usage, I'm able to get around 7 hours plus of screen on time with almost 1.5 days of battery life, so no issue here. And the included 60-watt super dart charger can fully charge the phone from 0 to 100% around 44 minutes. So there you go guys, my full honest review on the latest Realme 9 Pro Plus. To be honest, this is my first time impressed by Realme Midranger offering. You get great flagship camera setup by Sony, Super AMOLED display with 90Hz of refresh rate, thin and light build, good gaming performance, Dolby Atmos dual speakers, great battery life, and 60 watt of fast charging. The Realme 9 Pro Plus, 8GB of RAM and 256GB of internal storage will be sold at 1599 Ringgit Malaysia. But tomorrow, there's a special pre-order price at 1399 Ringgit at Lazada Malaysia. So do check it out, the link in the description below. Do let me know if you have any question. Until then, take care, stay safe, and peace guys.